Good evening, everyone. This is your evening news recap, your nightly news podcast on all the news that I come across throughout the day, giving you my take as somebody who aspires to be a politician in the near future. Hopefully, all you guys are doing wonderful. Hopefully, all you guys are well. Today is December 26th, and it is Friday. Hopefully, all you guys had a wonderful week and Christmas, if you celebrate, of course. And with that being said, if you're new here, please consider subscribing. All the support would be greatly appreciated as we're trying to reach 1,000 subscribers on YouTube by this summer. And if you're on Substack, please also consider subscribing as well. It's $8 a month. All funds go to me, helps me pay for the things that I need to pay for in my life, like my groceries, like my clothing, all those other things. But with that being said, let's get into the news from today. Hopefully all you guys had a wonderful, wonderful Christmas. I myself had a pretty alright one. It was interesting, but hey, that's just how all Christmases go. With that being said, though, let's get into the news. The first topic we have today, a lot of Christmas news, as Trump went after his opponents, I guess, in a little bit of a Christmas rant yesterday. Trump must feel like a Grinch this year, as he's going after the radical left once again in another Truth Social post. In this post, he wrote, "Merry Christmas to all, including the radical left scum that is doing everything possible to destroy our country but are failing badly. We no longer have open borders, men and women's sports, transgender for everyone, or weak law enforcement. What we do have is a record stock market and 401ks, lowest crime numbers in decades, no inflation, and yesterday a 4.3 GDP, 2 points better than expected. Tariffs have given us trillions of dollars in growth and prosperity, and the strongest national security we have ever had. We are respected again, perhaps like never before. God bless America, President Donald J. Trump." Talk about a lack of Christmas spirit, truly. First it was preaching propaganda to kids, and now it's the same bullshit that he spews all the time. I mean, he makes like literally at least 2 True Social posts a week talking about this, maybe even more. Sometimes I don't even read them. I'm going to be real. This man just can't take one day, to take a break, relax, maybe not get on True Social, maybe just chill out. I mean, we'll talk about this later, but he even bombed Nigeria on Christmas Day. This man, he's got issues. At the end of the day, fuck Trump. Merry Christmas to all. Happy holidays. Hopefully all you guys had a wonderful time over the holiday season. The next thing we have to talk about is really interesting, as Trump is making millions of dollars from pardoning individuals. According to a new report from the Wall Street Journal, Trump's pardons have attracted a lot of intense lobbyist efforts, making him millions of dollars. The Wall Street Journal described Trump's pardons as a shopping industry, with people paying $1 million to even as high as $6 million to get a pardon from the president, which is absolutely wild. He's taking bribes here, and Trump is very clearly a man that you can buy out. Look at his history. He's been bought out by Russia and many others for decades. He's being bribed here, which is grounds for impeachment. But in all honesty, what hasn't Trump done that isn't grounds for impeachment at this point? Trump should have been removed from office months ago, and lawmakers need to start taking those steps. It's past the time that it should have happened. Trump should not be taking money from people to give out pardons. That's insane. That's not something the president should be doing ever, in the slightest. In other news, though, Trump decided to bomb Nigeria on Christmas Day. The United States has carried out strikes against Nigeria, announced by Trump on Truth Social. He wrote, "Tonight, at my direction as Commander-in-Chief, the United States launched powerful and deadly strikes against ISIS terrorist scum in northwest Nigeria, who have been targeting and viciously killing primarily innocent Christians at levels not seen for in many years and even centuries. I previously warned these terrorists that if they did not stop slaughtering Christians, there would be hell to pay, and tonight there was. The Department of War exceeded numerous perfect strikes, as only the United States is capable of doing. Under my leadership, our country will not allow radical Islamic terrorism to prosper. May God bless our military, and Merry Christmas to all, including the dead terrorists, of which there will be many more if their slaughter of Christians continues." Sorry. Crusades on Christmas, man. In the modern day, wow. The big 2025 Crusades on Christmas. Isn't that just great? Out of all the days, Christmas too, the Christian holiday. You'd think you'd be taking a rest for Jesus' birthday, but hey, I guess not. Also, I'm pretty sure that Christmas isn't even Jesus's birthday. I don't know how true that is not or not. But I remember like talking about that a lot when I was younger, that Christmas isn't actually Jesus's birthday. I mean, but like, what are we doing? Like, the man can't take a break for one day. He has to go and strike another country on Christmas. Like, come on, dude. Like, what's your deal? What's your problem? We even had a Christmas truce during World War II. Like, but no, you got to go strike people in another country on Christmas because that's so necessary. And it's like, come on, dude. You can't take a break for one day. Out of all the days, like, you couldn't have waited another day. Out of all the days you had to go start like a conflict with someone or go and bomb another country, you had to do it on a Christmas. Like, they're on the day where there's supposed to be peace in the world. Come on, guys. Like, what are we doing? Anyways, in other news, Trump is also defending his involvement with Epstein in a way, trying to push blame onto other people again. What do you expect from the man? Trump has taken to Truth Social for what I assume is him defending himself and trying to deflect. This time he wrote, "Merry Christmas to all, including the many sleazebags who loved Jeffrey Epstein, gave him bundles of money, went to his island, attended his parties, and thought he was the greatest guy on earth, only to drop him like a dog when things got too hot. Also claimed that they had nothing to do with him, didn't know him, said he was a disgusting person, and then blame, of course, President Donald J. Trump, who's actually the only one who did drop Epstein a long time before it became fashionable to do so. When their names got brought up in the ongoing radical left witch hunt, plus one low-life Republican Massey, and it's revealed that the Democrats are all, there will be a lot of explaining to do. Much like there was when it was made public that Russia hoax was a fictitious story and a total scam and had nothing to do with Trump. The failing New York Times, among many others, were forced to apologize for their bad and faulty election reporting, even to the point of losing many subscribers due to their highly inaccurate fake coverage. Now, the same losers are at it again, only this time, so many of their friends, mostly innocent, will be badly hurt and reputationally tarnished by it. But sadly, that's the way the world is in the world of corrupt Democrat politics. Enjoy what may be your last Merry Christmas, President Donald J. Trump. For a man that has thousands, if not millions, of pictures at Epstein's parties, he really says a lot about, him being the first person to drop, being at Epstein's parties. But hey, how about instead of calling this fake news or a scam, we do the same as Bill Clinton and call to release all of the files related to you if you want to prove your innocence, Donald Trump. If Trump really wanted to clear his name, he would do that. Like, if there's nothing there related to him, why not call to release them all? Not to mention they all still haven't released all of the files related to Bill Clinton, from what we've heard. Like, but let's be real. Trump will never do this. He's never going to do that. Trump is all over those files. The Lake Michigan incident is just the start of it, and we need to continue to release them more and more. Nobody should be able to avoid this, especially the President of the United States. The President is supposed to be one of the most public figures. He's supposed to represent the entire country. If he is in those Epstein files, he shouldn't be able to get away with that. Anyways, moving on into our segment about the Epstein files, the Department of Justice can't find attorneys to redact said files. The Department of Justice is struggling to find prosecutors in Florida to volunteer to redact the Epstein files over the next several days. A prosecutor office for the Southern District of Florida, its U.S. Attorney's Office, sent out emails 2 days before Christmas, and those emails read, "Emergency request from the Deputy Attorney General's Office, the SDFL, must assist with the AUSAS to do remote document review and redactions related to the Epstein files, essentially requiring these individuals to try and release and redact these files." This is what they get for redacting far more than they needed to at the start of this. I mean, you can go to the DOJ website, you can click on a ton of images related, and you can still scroll, and it's all just black. It's all just black screens. There's nothing there. That's what they get for that, truly. They should have done it the correct way and, redacted what they needed to rather than just redacting everything. And now they're scrambling to find people. No shit, they're going to not find anyone 2 days before Christmas who wants to redact the Epstein files before Christmas and during Christmas. Hopefully they can find people now, and hopefully those people don't redact more than is clearly necessary because the files need to be redacted correctly. Protect the victims. Everyone else, if they're innocent, the files will prove that. There's no reason why we should have to redact the names of innocent people. If an individual is innocent, the files will prove that. If an individual is not innocent, files will prove that as well. Let's release the files, protect the victims. That's all there needs to be added. In other news, Trump also thinks the Department of Justice should be able to say no to releasing the Epstein files. Trump has taken to Truth Social saying that he thinks the Department of Justice should just say no to releasing all of the Epstein files. In this post, he wrote, "Now that a million more pages on the Epstein are found, the DOJ is being forced to spend all of its time on its Democrat-inspired hoax. When do they say no more and work on the Epstein fraud, etc.? The Democrats are the ones who worked with Epstein, not the Republicans. Release all their names, embarrass them, and get back to helping our country. The radical left doesn't want people talking about Trump and Republican success. Only a long ago dead Jeffrey Epstein, just another witch hunt." The Department of Justice is required by law to release these files. Required by the law. They can't not do it. They have to. So no, you can't just say no to releasing the files, Donald Trump. You can't do that. They're required to do so by law. The amount of deflection by Trump is absolutely insane. Sure, yeah, Democrats are within those files. They're all over the files, but so are Republicans. It's both sides. You can't just say it's, one side. We can all agree, whether you're on the left or on the right, both sides are the problem. Both sides of politics are the problem, and they're going to continue to be the problem. I mean, they're both in the files. You're not going to be able to excuse that. Going out there and saying that Republicans are not in the files is crazy. At least Democrats are calling to release the files related to them, like Bill Clinton. He is saying, release all the files related to me. I want to see all those files released, and they should all be released. Why isn't Trump doing that if he's so innocent? Because he very well could. He has the power to do so. He literally controls the Department of Justice, something no other administration has ever done before. Like, he has the power to do that if he wants to. Release all the Trump files. Trump should be held accountable, especially if he's the president right now. Bill Clinton was impeached for having relations with someone who wasn't his wife. Why isn't Trump being impeached for having allegations of being within the Epstein files? Anyways, moving on into our other news segments, the Food and Drug Administration has announced another massive recall for radioactive shrimp. The FDA has announced a second massive recall for frozen and cooked shrimp products from several companies due to a possible radioactive contamination. Southwind Foods, Aquastar, and Kroger have been impacted, which provide to stores like Backers, City Markets, Dillon's, Food for Less, Foodsco, Fred Meyer's, Fry's, Gerby's, JC, King Supers, Kroger's, Marilanos, Metro Market, Payless, Supermarkets, Pick and Save, Ralph's, and Smith's in the following states of Arkansas, Alabama, Arizona, Alaska, California, Colorado, Georgia, Indiana, Illinois, Kentucky, Kansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Missouri, Montana, Michigan, Nebraska, New Mexico, Nevada, Ohio, Oregon, South Carolina, Tennessee, Texas, Utah, Virginia, Washington, West Virginia, and Wisconsin. This is the second major recall we've seen for shrimp this year due to radioactive contamination, and it supposedly happens in Indonesian processing facilities. I personally love shrimp. I got a bunch of new cookbooks for Christmas, and some of them have shrimp recipes. And I was really excited to try those recipes. Even though shrimp is a little expensive, I love shrimp, and I love to cook with it. It's one of my favorite things to cook with, and I have cooked a lot of recipes with it previously. I'm a big cook, but there were new recipes that I wanted to try, and unfortunately, that's just not going to happen with this recall. I'd rather not eat radioactive shrimp. Going to be completely honest. A lot of people in my TikTok comment section were joking about getting shrimp superpowers, but of course, that's just a joke. It's not actually going to happen. But hey, hopefully, when there's no more radioactive shrimp, I'll have the opportunity to cook again. Maybe I'll post some pictures of the things I cook. I have some pots and pans now. I have some cookbooks. I'll get some ingredients, and maybe I'll do some of that going forward. But hey, it's been a rough year for shrimp lovers, of course. Hopefully they'll figure out all of these contaminations quickly. In other news, Congress has been the least productive it has ever been since 1989. The dyslexia is working hard with that one. Congress this year has been the least productive it has been since 1989, passing the fewest laws in essentially decades. This year, the House voted 749 times, 749, but they only passed 27 bills, less than 30. This means that they passed 3.6% of all votes this year, which is absolutely wild compared to the last time the Republicans controlled the House in 2013, where they passed 72 bills total. The Congress led by Mike Johnson has been a complete and total flop, and it's time for change in leadership. It's not surprising to see this. Everything Trump has tried to push has been absolutely egregious, and a lot of it has not gone through and has just been thrown to the side. Not to mention the government shutdown, which has been an absolute failure across the board, especially for Democrats. Change needs to be voted in throughout the House and throughout Congress, throughout our government. We need to vote in change because it's very clear that our leaders do not care about the best interest of the people. They care about the best interest of the corporation and other countries like Israel and so many more. There needs to be change here. We can't just stand for other countries or other corporations. The biggest need to the American people is a government that cares about us and a government that provides for us. And that's not something we have. And we need to have that as soon as possible. In other news, the United States has also been chasing an oil tanker for the past 5 days. Of course, the United States was in pursuit of a Venezuelan oil tanker, and they're still chasing after it. The U.S. Coast Guard has not given up on its pursuit of an oil tanker coming out of Venezuela and has continued the chase for the last 5 days. The White House claims that this vessel is a dark fleet vessel and is sailing under a false flag, and it refuses to stop when the Coast Guard tried to interact with it, and it has been in the Atlantic ever since on the run, and is not stopping anytime soon. Another wonderful waste of time and money by our U.S. government and military, by the military no less. What do you expect? The military wastes so much money every year. But hey, at least we know where this money is going to. Wish we could know where all of the rest of the money we are wasting is going to. But that boat is in international waters. It's in the middle of the Atlantic. You're not catching that, especially when it gets to its destination. They should give up. Are they going to? No, but good luck. If they catch it, they catch it. If they don't, they don't. I won't be surprised when they don't, because it's very likely that that's just not going to be the case. But in our final topic for tonight, we have some really unfortunate news, as 15 have been injured in a horrific attack in Japan. A man in Tokyo has been arrested after stabbing 8 and injuring 7 with what authorities believe to be bleach at a rubber factory in Japan, according to a report by ABC. 5 of the 7 who were injured or who were stabbed are in serious condition, and according to the police, the attacker was a 38-year-old man who has been arrested for the attempt of murders, but no other details have been provided just yet. This is absolutely horrible news, but hopefully everyone is able to recover, and live through this situation. Thankfully, it seems nobody has passed away yet, but good luck to all of those who are harmed in their recovery, and hopefully they are able to find out why this happened. Of course, there's no motives or information out just yet, but if anything big does come out of this, I will let you guys know. With that being said, though, thank you everyone for watching today's episode. I hope you all enjoyed. It has definitely been a very interesting day in the news world, that is for sure. Just as a reminder, I'm flying home in a few days. Today is the 26th. I'm flying home on the 30th. So there won't be an episode on the 30th. Of course, I will be on a plane heading back to Colorado. And outside of that, I don't know if there will be an episode on New Year's Day. I'm not entirely sure. My roommate and I plan to do a little party, but I don't know how many people are going to be there with us. I think it might just be the 2 of us hanging out together. Not entirely sure yet. I will let you guys know, though. Outside of that, though, thank you everyone for watching today's episode. I hope you all enjoyed. It has definitely been a very interesting day in the news world. That is for sure. If you're new here, please consider subscribing. All the support greatly appreciated. We're trying to hit 1,000 subscribers on YouTube by the summer. We're at 650. I mean, that is crazy. 650 within this year already. It means the world to me that so many of you guys have subscribed. Thank you all so much. And outside of that, if you're on Substack, please consider subscribing as well. All the support is truly appreciated. It's $8 a month. All funds go to me. This is a viewer-supported show, so all the support is truly appreciated. I'm going to try and figure out how to get channel memberships going as well. I believe I'm almost to the threshold. I know I have the 500 subscriber threshold for that as well. But that'll open up another site on YouTube for those of you who don't want to get onto Substack. But with that being said, thank you all so much for watching today's episode. I truly do appreciate it. And with that being said, have a good one, guys.